Hey up everybody, my name's Joshua Morrison, director of Jonny Mozza's Lessons in Confidence, and today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about professional film sets and why over the years I've become a little bit weary of them, and I feel like the ultimate professional look isn't necessarily a goal to strive towards. So I'm going to tell a few stories of various professional film sets that I've been on. I used to do a lot more in regard to being on sets. I was the grunt. I did all the stuff like delivering the coffees and, the assistant camera to the assistant camera to the camera operator, who's the assistant to the director of photography, who's then the assistant essentially to the director. So that's like 7 layers of bureaucracy right there. I've done various sound recording gigs on projects that maybe aren't necessarily top tier professional, but they are trying to emulate that style of thing as well. And I thought I'd just tell you some stories about that and how this utter excess and indulgence within the filmmaking community as a business can kind of get in the way of the art and the actual narrative and the storytelling, the characters and the ideas that you're trying to get across. So first off, I wanted to talk to you about this, and I can't name any of these things, by the way, because I'm going to be talking smack about them, but the first thing is I was on this big TV set, very big set. We were filming at this big stately home, and it was like this historical thing, so there were a lot of extras, and I think they were doing some scene with, this is the thing, I was on the sets, and I don't even really know what they were filming, because the sets are these closed off things, and then you've got the rest of the crew that kind of help out with various parts of this, but you don't really know what it is that you're actually making, and you don't know what it is that they're making, because the crew is a group of about 20, maybe 30 people that hide off somewhere that you don't really see that often. So when I got onto the set, I got there for 7 in the morning, and first off, we had to spend a lot of time. I was like just a grunt, basic grunt. And first thing we had to do was spend all this time moving stuff from like one room down a corridor, down some stairs, into another room. And I was like, okay, yeah, just moving stuff, I can do that. So we did all that. We were done with that by about 9:30. And at that point, I think the director and the producers and like the director of photography had shown up. And I think beforehand, they had the assistant camera people kind of building the camera. They had this big Arri Alexa set up with all like tentacle time code things on them and big screens on them and various little gizmos and gadgets that help the Arri Alexa work really well, and all the latest and greatest lenses, probably about looking at the value of a house in Hoxley for what that was, that single camera, and that's not even talking about the tripod and then the sound equipment. So when I got out from doing all this moving, I came back out into the courtyard, and I saw that there were all these tents, kind of in the back area behind the courtyard where they weren't going to be filming anything. So I was walking around, and there was like the director's tent that had few chairs and a computer and like a couple monitors in it, and what I presume was the director. I never met the director, never said hello to him. I don't think he even knows who I am or whether I exist. Then you had the camera tent, which had all boxes stacked high with camera equipment, and you had a similar one for the sound department, and then you had a similar one for the gaffer department. And for those who aren't aware, the gaffer is essentially like the electrician and general mechanical expert of a film crew. If you were on a small set, for instance, that had one of everything, your gaffer would be the guy that brings like tripods and dollies and stuff like that and sets that kind of thing up. Sometimes they help with lighting, but sometimes that's a separate department on top of that, which is generally called a lighting tech. And also gaffers tend to help with electrical things, like they'll be the ones that bring like extension cables and things like that. And big battery packs, or maybe like a generator if they're filming out in the forest, or some stuff like that. So you've got a gaffer department, you've got the camera department, you've got the sound department, and in this set we had a lighting tech department. And then those tents kind of surround, I think there was one other tent that I couldn't figure out what it was. And then it was probably for like a coffee station, because there was in the middle, there was a big group of people that were sitting there all day, and I didn't really know what they were talking about, but they all seemed to be talking in quite hush-hush voices. And there were people, but oh yeah, here's your coffee, here's your coffee, here's your coffee, here's your coffee. And they're all just sort of, they're not even acknowledging that this person that's given them the coffee even exists. They're not going, oh, thank you, thank you. They're just like that. So there's no, you know, the way that they see it is this old world kind of hierarchy where the people on the top are the superior beings and then the people on the bottom are the lesser beings because they haven't grafted hard enough, and they should be treated like they don't even exist. And I'm not even talking about necessarily overworking, because, you know, these sets are infamously often, you know, 10, 12, 13, 14 hours long. And that's in this country. You know, if you go to a country with more lax employment laws, you start looking at 17, 18-hour days. Some of my Indian friends who've made films in India will know what I'm talking about with regards to that. I've heard some real horror stories with stuff like, you know, getting to set for 3 a.m, finishing at 11 a.m, and then having to go home and be back for set at the next 3 a.m. And some people just like stay in their car in the car park, or like just drive to the nearest place where they can park and just sleep there for a couple hours because they know they won't get good sleep, so they'll end up waking up at like 2, and they do that kind of thing. So my point is that there is this big hierarchy, right? And I was right at the bottom of that hierarchy, but I seem to be below even the people that are giving the coffees out, because no one seemed to remember that I was actually here being employed, meant to do a job, along with about 30 other people that are exactly like me. So we're all behind the court. So there's the courtyard where they were doing a bit of filming, and then there's like the side courtyard where they had all the tents, and then there's like behind the court is like a field, like a back garden kind of. It's just a big field with some trees and stuff in it, and someone had brought a rugby ball or found a rugby ball somewhere, and we just started throwing them. We played catch, me and about a dozen other people. We just played catch for about 6 hours, 7 hours, and every now and then, like, an assistant producer would come up with a clipboard and go, "Oh, Josh, you doing anything?" And I catch the ball, I'd be like, "No, I'm not doing anything." And then she would go, "Oh, yeah, take these flyers. They're basically just to tell people that we're filming. Just go around and find loads of lampposts, put them on every lamppost, and you see the arrows on them. Try and make the arrows align with what's actually on the thing and the direction. So like if something says set this way, then make sure that the bit of paper is actually telling the truth, and it's not like the set's actually that way, if that makes sense. Make the directions accurate." So then I would just do that. That would take maybe 20 minutes. And that was quite fun, actually. It was just nice having a nice walk. I was basically just walking around and with these big zip ties, just tying these things to lampposts and traffic posts and stuff like that. That was quite fun. And then we played a bit more catch. There was one guy who I think was probably too high up to be doing this, so every once in a while a bigger producer would come and just get angry specifically at him, and he would be very like, "Oh yeah, whatever," and he would kind of laugh it off. I presume that he was so confident in his job that he knew he was in the right, and he'd already done whatever he was meant to do, and so he was just out having a good time. And that was fun. You know, I did that for, you know, I've done variations on that kind of thing, but that was the most egregious one, where I did the most nothing. I did the most nothing. So that's the kind of thing that happens on a big film set. Think like Peaky Blinders. It wasn't Peaky Blinders. I'm not going to tell you what the show was, because to be honest, I don't actually know what the show is. But I know it's this period thing, probably like in the vein of Peaky Blinders. You know, it looked like there was some Victorian kind of stuff knocking around. I don't know if it was British or American. I know the Americans like to come over here and make use of our tax advantages to make their films, like the Star Wars sequels, episode 7, 8, and 9. A lot of them were filmed here. Like, you know, Luke's planet, you know, where he's sucking on that weird monster's teat. That was all filmed. It was either filmed like in Norfolk sort of area, or it was filmed on the other side. Whatever that bit above Birmingham but below Manchester is called. I can't remember what that area is called. It was filmed somewhere around there, right? And then a couple other sets that I've been on have been very similar to that, because there are so many people that you end up not having much delegated to you, because all the important jobs have been delegated to all the people that are there to do, like the DOP, for instance, is working a lot because they've got a lot to do and they make a lot of decisions, and so they delegate to the camera assistant, and then the maybe the focus puller and like maybe the focus puller will occasionally help, like go grab a lens or that kind of thing. You're on them kind of sets where it's not completely rigid what the roles are, but you are basically like, if you're a focus puller, you're not worrying about the sound. You don't like, you're not allowed to tell the actors that you thought like the performance was a bit naff. And I understand that the segregation of duties is quite useful, because you don't want everyone giving their own little 2 cents, because I've directed sets where it felt like everyone was just trying to question my vision, and I have to sort of be the authority and just go, everyone, stop, I love your suggestions, but stop suggesting stuff. I know what we're doing, and this is what we're doing. You know, sometimes you do need to have that, but I do feel like a lot of these bigger sets, you're just kind of there. You're not really getting much done. And a lot of the time, like the lighting tech, he'll be up here, right? And pretend this is a light. He'll be kind of like this. Oh. Can I have a runner over here, please? Yeah, just poke a hole in it. Okay. Right. Right, that should help bring a bit more light in. Okay. No, it's not working. We're going to need a bit more. Okay. All right. Give me a sec. Is that enough? Yeah? Is that good? Okay. Now we need to get a fill light on over that side. Can I have a runner just over there, please? And yep, thank you very much. All right. Now come over here. Can you hold this light? Okay. Well, you're terrible at your job. And then goes to the other side and he's like, ooh, okay. Do you know what it's about? I can't see my face right now, but I know that there can be shadows that can appear, particularly here. Say if you've got a side light that's hitting you this side, it's going to hit your nose, and the nose is going to create a little shadow like that. So Hollywood sets and these big professional sets don't like that for whatever reason. They hate the idea of natural lighting. So they will spend, honest to God, about an hour just to hide that bit of shadow, because they'll be moving things just like what I was demonstrating there. And then say if the scene starts off with someone like in a doorway and they say a couple lines, okay, and then they sit down, right, and then they say a couple lines. That's 2 setups, right? So that means that the guy has got to move all the lights around all over again to hide the same little bit of the nose. And I know there's going to be some lighting people in the comments that are going to be really quite annoyed at my perspective at this, but honestly, I would rather see the flaws in things. And I think because because Hollywood is so, and not just Hollywood, I'm talking about professional film sets in general, the sort of thing you might see on TV or in the cinema, or just corporate feeling stuff in general, right? I think because everything's been so perfected over the years, and there's this expectation that everything has to look a certain way, and if things don't look that way, then they look bad. So for instance, a film like Primer, look, that was filmed on like a little digicam sort of thing, or maybe it was shot on film, I can't remember. I don't think it was. That looks bad because it doesn't look the same as all the other films that are have that same slight little dolly thing going around like that, or they've got the same makeup on all the actors, even the male actors, and you've got all the same kind of elements, no matter if it's a horror or a thriller or a love story or a cheesy comedy or Schindler's List or whatever. They're all kind of the same. And what really frustrates me is that there is so much more room for expression if we were more open to the idea of naturalistic filmmaking. And that's why I have recently realized that what I've been doing with my own film sets is I've been on these various film sets and I've sort of thought to myself, oh, this is the way it's done, this is the way that people expect it to be done. My crew are expecting a professional set. And I feel like if you try and emulate a professional set without the professional resources, what's the point? What's the point of creating full stop? Because you are essentially feeding the corporate machine with your own soul. You're putting your own heart and soul and your time and your patience and your energy and your mental well-being into this thing just for the sake of this corporate looking thing that looks the same as all the other films that have the same thing, where it's 2 people are sat on a bench. You've got that shot that this camera's getting right now, and then you've got the shot that's over here that gets him over the shoulder, and then you get another one like this. And it's like that, okay? And then when it starts to get a bit more serious, when it gets into the deeper part of the conversation, You do this. And then you do another one for this guy when he's going to do a monologue, this guy here. He's going to do a big monologue about, you know, how his life feels meaningless and he feels like he might just want to end it all. And the other guy's trying to sound, no, I love you, I love your life, and I want to hang out with you more. Oh, I'm so sad, blah, 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 blah. And you know, it's fun to close in because, you know, I'm not decrying these movements and these individual pieces, these tools. I'm decrying the pattern of using the same tools in the same ways for the same reasons. And there is obviously the film language that has developed over the years, you know, like the Kuleshov effect, where it's, if I, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do it now. So I've cut there to 3 different images, right? And you notice that on the last 2 I was smiling. The first one, it looked like I was smiling at something kind of sweet. And the second one, it looked like I was smiling at something really, that made me look like a right creep. You know, so you've got the cinematic language that has been developed over the years by, you know, all the greats, all the classics, all the people that you read about in your film studies and stuff like that. All people that I have been taught about and I've kind of forgotten and I only know them on a subconscious level. You know, I'm not saying don't use film language and don't try and, you know, but also use a part of your own film language. Think about how you approach cinema and how you see your works and the works of, you know, your favorite artists and what they're doing and how you could do something similar but in a different way, and you could use that idea that they've got, but you don't want to have it in that context. You could put it in this other context and it would actually feel like a different thing entirely. You know, you can make the same dolly zoom in that I was just doing on that guy who's giving the monologue about like ending his life, and you could make it a one about like, oh, you know, I've never told you this before, but I'm sorry, I'm not a very good actor. It's like, no, I've seen you on all the big TV sets and I think that you're grand, I think that you're wonderful, and I don't even know how to say this, but can I have your autograph? And it's like, oh yes, please. And zooming in the entire way, you know, that would look totally different, that would feel, and the purpose of the zoom would feel totally different, you know? So it would be kind of fun. So this is why I dislike a lot of these professional films. And I'm saying professional films rather than like any particular types of people, because I'm not saying that there aren't professional films that are good. I'm not saying that there aren't, you know, absolute fantastic directors and fantastic writers and fantastic actors out in the famous parts of this film culture, you know, like, you know, I think Leonardo DiCaprio is a really good actor, and he's probably the most famous actor around right now. So famous, he only has to do a film every couple of years. So, and he's a really good actor, you know, and every role he does, he brings something really interesting to it, you know. So it's not that there isn't talent that's going on. It's that I feel like the corporate angle of these sets are really bringing down a lot. Like you couldn't make The Wolf of Wall Street as a folk film, as a, you know, $2,000 budget, made with your friends kind of thing. It would be crap. Like, let's be real. You couldn't make Schindler's List for $500. You couldn't do that. You couldn't, and it wouldn't be. What would be the point? You know, some stories need that grandiosity, and you know, it is a good thing that Hollywood can provide that in some way. And I'm using Hollywood as a generic term for large film production companies, not necessarily just within Hollywood, but also within the British film institutions and Bollywood and Nollywood and you know, various, well, not really Nollywood, that's kind of low budget, but it's trying to be high budget. Anyway, you know, I'm not decrying these things outright. You know, there are films out there like that, you know, you can look at them and be like, okay, that has earned its $200 million budget, you know? And then you'll see something and you just sort of think, why did we bring all these people together for this purpose, for this vision? This is not the vision that you know, so many people came on for any reason other than money. no one came onto this for any reason other than money, bar maybe one or two people that were weirdly invested in the idea. And I do feel like, you know, what I've been saying has been quite unprofessional, and it probably, you know, raises some red flags about my approach to making films. And if you've noticed that, and if you've already left a comment in the thing below, then, you know, I don't really have anything to add in that regard. Just that it's important to me that we try and move past the singular, sterilized corporate vision for a lot of these films. Like, they can be comforting in a sort of very dry way, but I just don't. I feel like there's so much more in the room of expression. And an example, not example, but an idea I've always floated is the BBC made this show Taboo, and it cost £5 million per episode, right? And it stars Tom Hardy, who was at the height of his fame, and it's all like big Victorian era sets. And that's not the series that I was on, by the way, that I was referring to earlier. Wasn't that? And I feel like if you took the 5 million per episode, and I think they made 6 episodes, so let's call it 30 million, right? You took that 30 million, and you split that up into chunks of 100,000. Okay, you know, because people need to get paid, unions need to be, you know, accommodated, locations need release forms and stuff like that, right? Let's say 100,000 to loads of shows, to loads of creatives to make a 6-episode thing, and that can be kind of whatever. So you get 100,000. That's 30 shows for the price of one, right there. And that's with a very loose approach to this sort of thing. When I've gone further with this, it's turned out that you can actually make 300 shows for the price of one, or you could go even further with it and just like get a load of people to make something with like a camcorder and just kind of have fun with it, and you can make 3,000 shows for the price of one. But I think by that point you're starting to get diminishing returns. But I do think if you had 30 shows for the price of one, you're going to get one show that is better than Taboo, at least. Because Taboo wasn't that good. It was all right, I guess. It looked slick and polished, I suppose, and well done to the core crew in that, you know, group of 25 that show would have had. That, you know, put all that hard work in and grafted on it, and well done to them, you know. But I feel like it would be such a more interesting cinematic, creative landscape if we encouraged the little guy, and we instead of funding a couple of huge projects, we started funding lots of smaller projects. Like in the 50s and the 60s in cinema, they had like the David Lean epic, the Lawrence of Arabia, the Dr. Zhivago, you know, the greatest story ever told, things like that, the Ten Commandments, Ben-Hur, these kind of things, right? And huge, bombastic, you know, thousands of extras on their locations, hundreds of big actors, you know, budgets that rival, you know, like the likes of Avengers Endgame and that kind of thing, right? And in the 70s, there became this trend to, instead of putting all your eggs into that basket, with the advent of television as well, that kind of helped to even the playing fields. But more low-budget films, semi-low-budget films started coming out. You started getting things like Jaws and even Star Wars to a degree, and you got and Taxi Driver, and you got a lot of films that you wouldn't have gotten in the 50s and the 60s. And you kind of got more of them as well because the money was able to be more evenly spread. And, you know, budget doesn't make a film. You know, the most expensive films out there aren't the best ones. I mean, you know, I'm sure a lot of people out there think Titanic and Endgame and Avatar are like their favourite ever films, but I don't think anyone would really sit down and seriously try and argue that Avatar is the best film ever made, and I quite like Avatar. I'm a bit of a defender of it. But, you know, is it the best film ever made? No. All my favourite films are in the range of about 1 to maybe 30, possibly 50 million. And then there's some that are way lower budget than that, like The Man from Earth, which cost next to nothing. I think it cost maybe 100,000, something like that. So you have got all these sort of, and if you had the budget spread across more even playing grounds, there would be more opportunity for employment as well. Instead of having all these people getting around doing nothing on these big sets, I mean, what qualifications and experience did I gain from playing catch for 9 hours? I mean, I learned how to catch a ball, but I already knew how to do that. Sure, I had a bit of fun and I got some exercise in, but you know, I didn't learn anything about how film sets work in any capacity other than it's a big waste of time. And I know that sounds cynical, and I know that my approach probably comes across like someone who didn't make it in the industry and is jealous and all that. But, you know, and if you want to read this video as that, then you're more than welcome to. But I ended up shifting gears towards doing events. I take my camera everywhere and I do events and videography gigs and stuff like that, where it's a one-man, possibly two-man crew. And you know, the pay's better than when I was on the grunt film sets, and I get to be in charge, I get to make my own decisions, and I get to actually have some leeway and do things in my own way, and I get to learn through doing things, and I wouldn't exchange that for those big film sets for anything in the world. I think it's so much more fun, and it's not that events don't annoy me in various ways, but it at least challenges me in ways other than trying to get up early. That's another good thing about events, is most of them take place in the evening. I don't have to get up early anymore. I'm not a morning person. I don't like getting up at 6 in the morning to be at a place for 7. I don't like walking around when it's dark outside. And you know, I've just woken up, it feels really weird. I think if you are someone that is part of a larger film set and you know, you've been doing that kind of thing for a while, and you know, maybe you're part of that core crew of these big shoots, please do talk to me in the comments about, you know, your experience and what you kind of make of what I've been saying throughout this, and you know, what ideas you might have for the future of cinema, and what we could do to try and improve the way that we create, and the way that our overall, as a species, our business model regarding film, how it could be improved in various ways. Personally, I think if you strip things down and you make things a lot smaller, and you make more small things rather than a few big things, you're bound to create a lot more interesting works, because you get more throws of the dice. And so, yeah, that's pretty much everything that I've got to tell for today. Thank you so much for watching this. I'm going to be doing a few more videos about film and that kind of thing. If you kind of come for the London content, I kind of talk about whatever. So, yeah. Thank you very much, and take care. Bye-bye. Hey up everybody, my name's Joshua Morrison, director of Jonny Mozza's Lessons in Confidence, and today I want to talk to you a little bit about going to the gym, because you're always sort of told, you know, go to the gym, and then you go to the gym and it's pretty much what you expect, but as you start going through it, it maybe doesn't give you those life benefits that you might have been expecting, because, you know, everywhere on the internet you're kind of told that it's good to go to the gym, and it is good to go to the gym, it's good to work out, it's good to stay fit and healthy. However, I feel like a lot of spaces on the internet treat the gym like this magic fucking cure everything that's wrong with your life potion. That if you just drink this potion of going to the gym, you won't have any more problems, right? And that's not the case. What's going to end up happening is you go to the gym, and then your first day at the gym, you're a little bit nervous. You go to the changing rooms, and it's like, this is a bit of a new world. I haven't done this before. What's gonna happen? So you go. You sign up, you go in, you buy your lock, and then you know, you've bought your gym clothes and stuff, and you get out onto the gym floor, and you're surrounded by all these machines that are all called names like lat pull-up and like torso side and stuff like this. I don't know the names of any of these machines, right? So you might wander around, sort of see someone sort of doing a bit of that, or doing a bit of that, right? Or doing a bit of this. This isn't even an exercise. And you'll see these people doing the stuff, and like, you think, Jesus, that's maybe what's going to happen to me. I'm going to be like them. I'm going to be one of these sort of people, you know. And so first you get on a treadmill, let's say, and you turn, and the treadmill right now has a sort of screen on it, and so you're sort of flicking through the buttons on the screen, sort of trying to figure out what's going on, and you start, you know, doing your running, and you start getting into a groove, and you think, oh, this is nice. You got your headphones in, and you've got like some music playing, and it's quite high energy music, and you're really feeling the music, and you're really running for it, and you're really enjoying it. And then you finish on the treadmill. Okay, right, done the treadmill. What else can I do? All right, so I found this machine, right? This is some kind of hip thing, but let's say it's like a lat pull-up machine, right? So you're doing all this, all that, right? And you're trying and you're trying and you're trying, and you know, you finish your workout and you head back to the changing rooms. You're fucking pooped, man. So you get changed. You head to the shower. You use the shower and you have a look around the back. You see that there's like a sauna, maybe a steam room, stuff like that. If you've got a swimming pool, then you maybe have a look at the swimming pool. You think, okay, I better come down there tomorrow. The next day, you go to the gym. You do it all again, right? And you're feeling the energy. You really enjoyed going to the gym before. You enjoyed listening to the music, and you enjoyed doing this workout. And so you do it all again. You do basically the same routine that you did before, and then you go have your shower and you come back. Maybe this time you actually do take a quick lap in the pool, and then you get changed and you go home, right? And then you do that again and again and again and again. And as you keep sort of doing it, it stops being this novel thing and it starts to become just part of the general routine. It just becomes another thing you do. And once you hit that stage, I like to call that stage 2, that's like settling in. Now you're kind of settled in. You don't feel like this like mild anxiety looking at all these like bodybuilders that are way tougher than you, and you feel like quite a small, like, you know, look at that, you know, you stop feeling like people are noticing all of that, right? And you start feeling like you can just be your own person. You're going in, you're listening to your fun music. And for me, I find the gym is so good to listen to music to. You go to the gym, and I like to download albums, and I put them on my phone. And an album's what, 40 minutes? So that's a 40-minute workout, and you get to listen to a new album. So it's a great way of just experiencing new music. I mean, I've listened to all sorts, like In Utero by Nirvana, tried the Prince Purple Rain, wasn't for me personally, although I did like it. You know, lots of live performances. Metal is really good. Like I listened to the Shogun album from Trivium, got into Dream Theater because of going to the gym. Very, very heavy kind of stuff that really fills you with energy. Can be really useful. Rap is really good for going to the gym. Like I listened to a couple Outkast albums, listened to Nas's Illmatic, listened to like that sort of stuff, right? It's good to have some fun with the music as well. And you know, to give some variety to each day, because I know that you're meant to, and you can really fall down this rabbit hole of just becoming this gym bro, this gym rat who is constantly looking at the best way of doing, like, you know, do you do your lat pulls on this day and then your tricep curls on this day, and then, you know, and doing all these things. I don't really think about any of that. I kind of just go to the gym and I have a bit of fun on the machines, and then I'm done, right? I don't know what any of the machines are called. I just do whatever machine I enjoy the most. I don't think about, you know, this part of the body and this part of the body. That's where having a few all body exercises can come in useful. So swimming is really good as a full body exercise. So I like to do a lot of swimming just so that I can kind of balance things out, because I do know that if I'm doing that thing all the time, then that's gonna cause some muscle issues like going forwards, and it can cause you pains and that kind of thing, and you don't want that to happen. So, you know, be sensible about it, but also don't go so overboard with trying to figure out a little routine for yourself, because if you do that, you're going to end up going to the gym and you're going to end up you'll turn this thing that's kind of a fun little place to go into another job, another task for yourself to do for the day. And I don't like seeing it like that. And when I did start to see it like that, and I started doing the gym every day, and I was doing, you know, the this on that day and this on the other day and blah, 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 right? I got so sick of it that I just sort of stopped for a little bit. I stopped going to the gym as much. And then once I changed my mindset and I just started treating the gym just like a fun sort of little activity to go out and do, rather than this expectation that this is the grind that I need to be on in order to change my life for this nebulous future, right? That I started to actually enjoy it again. I started actually wanting to go to the gym. And that was a much more gratifying feeling, rather than trying to chase the gym rat YouTube bro kind of mentality of grinding it out and doing all these different things on different days to get those gains and all this shit. It's like, fuck the gains. As long as you're feeling healthy and you're enjoying it, what's, you know, you're doing the gym. That's the best you can sort of do, right? I don't really see the point in chasing like particular gains and muscles and like all that kind of stuff. And Yeah, I find the gym is the most fun is just the little bits of socializing. I don't like, because when I go on the gym floor, I like to have headphones in. I don't particularly like socializing there, but once you're out the back and you're, say, in the sauna or something like that, you go in the sauna and maybe there's like some kind of political debate going on. I went into one the other day and they were having a debate about Palestine, and I didn't join in on that, but I just sort of, I enjoyed just sitting there and listening to this debate. You know, there's been other times where they've, you know, you're overhearing like a group of friends having a chat, and you kind of just sort of sit and think, oh yeah, that's interesting. Oh yeah, I think he's kind of right on that, but no, I think he's wrong. And that kind of thing. And then you might get into a couple little chats with people. I've gotten into a few chats with people, and it's not, and it's also, the gym is good as this bonding thing to have with people you don't even go to the gym with. Like there's a guy that works in my Lidl, right? And whenever I go there, I kind of have a chat with him, and I'm like, oh, hey, I'll do a little fist bump. And so I'm like, and he's always asked, oh, have you just come from the gym? And I'm like, if I have, yeah, or if not, nah, I don't have the time today. He's like, oh yeah, man, I need to get back into it. I haven't done it for like a couple of days. And it's like, yeah, man, just get back into it. I mean, because like, it's fun, isn't it? It's near your house and stuff. And like, we have that little chat that we wouldn't have had if we didn't have that thing to bond over. And it's a nice thing it's nice to have that extra thing in your life to bond with someone over. It's nice to collect as many potential bonding experiences as possible. And that's always good. That's what the gym is to me. It's not a lifestyle, and it's not a thing that you go to with a specific goal in mind, because if you do that, you're just going to disappoint yourself when you don't reach that goal, and you know, you start to see the challenge in front of you and it all gets on top of you, and then you end up giving up because it all just seems like it's too fucking hard, right? So you don't do that. You just go in, you have a bit of fun, you get on the machine, you do a bit of this, right? And these park machines, by the way, are awful. This feels terrible. There's no muscle being activated here whatsoever. So I'm trying to stop, but it just keeps going. There we are. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on the gym. I love going to the gym, but I don't make it a personality trait. I don't make it something that, you know, I'm going for a specific reason, and I don't go to, you know, try and do this machine and then this machine and this machine, and like I've got it all listed out and all this stuff, because to me at least that kind of takes away from the fun of it, and I'm there to have fun, not to get ripped, right? Going to the gym, by the way, can be very, you know how if you've got a friend that like has just gone through a breakup, you kind of say, oh yeah, you should get to the gym, right? That is very, very useful. If you're going through a hard time, the gym is incredibly useful for getting yourself out of your own head, and getting that anger out as well. If you're on the treadmill and you're going at like fucking like 10 miles an hour, 12 miles an hour, and you're just doing this, and you're charging, and the music in your head is like boom, boom, brah, da, yeah, all this kind of crazy stuff, and you feel in the zone, and then like you get that little like sweat going down you, and you do this as you're running. You know, and you get that like kind of moment where you feel like a action star or something like that, and that's fun, that's amazing. And then you get that thing where you're listening to some really cool music, and like as the beat is really getting up and up and up, or maybe it's like, I don't know, some amazing instrumental section or whatever, the hairs on your fucking side start to like tighten up and go vertical as you're running, and that's an amazing feeling of like this very nice mild numbness that sort of shimmers through your body, and that just, it makes you feel like you're going through an upgrade of some kind. So it's really fun, and that's what the gym is. It's fun to do. It's an activity like going to a cafe or reading at the library or taking in a play. It's not like to me, it's not this thing that you have to do because you want to get ripped or you want to lose weight or anything like that. And if you see it in that way, then you know, you can say goodbye to that, like those goals that you kind of want, because eventually it will end up getting on top of you. You know how many people set going to the gym as a New Year's resolution, sign up to the gym on 1st of January, go for maybe a week and then stop, because they've put that expectation on themselves. If you put that kind of expectation on yourself, you're bound to be sorely disappointed. So yeah, sorely disappointed is what I meant, not solely disappointed. Yeah, that's going to be everything from me today. Thank you so much for watching this. if you're about to go to the gym, have a good workout session. If you're at the gym while you're listening to this, you know, I hope you're near the, you know, I hope you're feeling good, hope you're repping and all that. Do a rep. Do another rep. Do another rep. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. Take care. Have a good one, and put your bloody gym experiences in the comment sections below. That's going to be all from me. Have a good one, and yeah, I'm going to try and do, I don't know, 10 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, I might need to do more. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. Hey up, everybody. My name's Joshua Morrison, director of Jonny Mozza's Lessons in Confidence, and today I want to talk to you about quality and about quantity. So if you've been in the creative space for a while, or even not just in the creative space, just in general, you've heard the phrase quality over quantity, right? And what do people mean by that? Well, they mean they would rather you make a good thing than make lots of things, right? And in a vacuum, yeah, it is better to make a good thing than to make lots of things. However, where I feel like the saying falls down is in the fact that you can make a lot of good things. You don't necessarily need quantity or quality, right? You can have both. And it's just about finding the formula that works for you. So they did this experiment some point in the past where they got two groups together, right? They had what were called the quality group and the quantity group, and both of these groups had to make these paper mache eggs, right? And they had an hour to do it, and the quality group had to make one egg in that hour and just basically like really make sure it's the perfect egg. And the quantity group had to make as many eggs as possible, right? So what happens is the hour passes, the quality group has this one egg, and the quantity group has like 50 eggs, right? Now, these eggs are then judged in terms of a few different factors, like how smooth the paper mache is the shape, you know, an egg shape? Is it the right egg shape? Is it the right size? Is the color from the various paper mache, is that smooth? Is there any glue hanging off it? That kind of thing, right? And you lose points depending on like imperfections and stuff. And there's a final score at the end for your egg, right? So the quality group had a pretty decent egg. It was all right, it was above average for sure. However, the quantity group, this is where it gets interesting. They had an awful lot of crap eggs, as you might expect. However, they had more than one egg. In fact, they had about 10, 15 eggs that were actually better than that one egg the quality group was making, that got a higher score, that fit the brief of like what this paper mache egg should be, because they got into a flow state with it and they were just doing egg after egg after egg after egg. It's the same way, you know, in the 70s or the 60s, you might have your favorite band or artist. Like, I really like Pink Floyd, right? And I feel like they got into a right creative streak beginning in 1969 when they did More and they did Amagama, and then they went and did Atom Heart Mother, which led into Metal, which led into Obscured by Clouds, which led to the magnum opus of Dark Side of the Moon, that was the thing that made them mega famous, right? And then that started a whole new phase of their career. But in that time, they were just making stuff, making an album every year, sometimes 2 albums a year, just getting into that flow state and just doing it, right? And because they just did that, and rather than worrying about the end result so much, they ended up making some of the best music of their career in that time. I mean, they made Echoes in that time. They made Fat Old Sun in that time. They made Souls Full of Secrets in that time. They made, Pillow of Winds and Fearless and all kind like Summer '68 and so many great songs that are some of their best songs that they ever made, right? And they did it very quickly and without perfecting everything too much, which started to paralyze them later on down the line. And they started actually making worse things whilst they had a higher threshold for quality. Like the Final Cut, for instance, they had a very high threshold for quality with that. And yet the album isn't as good as albums that came before. I still like the Final Cut, by the way. I actually like it more than The Wall. It's got some amazing songs on it, but that's kind of getting away from my point, which is that if you can get into that flow state and find a way of creating quality via quantity, you will be in a much better position than if you just try to strive for quality and if you drive for perfectionism, if you drive for just getting this one thing down perfect and nailed. Because someone else will do it better just by shoddily running along doing the thing that they do, running through their motions, right? They will be able to achieve something that's better. Like I've got a friend, right, who's got a YouTube channel. I don't think he wants me to talk about because he's unlisted basically all the videos, right? But he got into a big flow state with it. He got to a point where he did a month where he released a video every 2 days, right? And he got so into this flow state, and he made some crap videos in that time, but he made some really good videos in that time, and he made a couple videos that actually sprung a few long-running series that we started to do that were things that would net him like 10, 50, 100,000 views. And these were things that we really enjoyed doing, that were creatively fulfilling, you know, and they were good. They were some of his best videos. And it's really interesting to see how, if you can just get into that flow state, and if you can just start doing stuff rather than worrying about it, how you can make such better quality material. Take Joel Haver, for instance, one of my inspirations at the moment. He's doing this 12 features project right now, right? And he's getting into that flow state, and he's making some of the best films of his career, you know? Because he's gotten into that state of just doing one film, then the next, and the next, and the next. And like, you know, sure, I don't love some films as much as others, but overall, I feel like he's made some of the best films of his career in this year with this 12 features project. And I think that, like that, and like with the Pink Floyd example, and like with the paper mache eggs, what you can learn from this idea of quantity over quality rather than quality over quantity is that quantity doesn't necessarily negate quality. You can have quantity and quality. It is possible. And all you need to do is find the formula that works for you. Find that flow state. Find the thing that inspires you and makes you really drive to get this thing done, to achieve this goal. And if you can get into that flow state, then you can do things beyond your wildest dreams. And it is kind of like having a superpower, in all honesty, as cliche and cheesy and like managerial pep talk as that might sound. It really is true. If you can get into a flow state, you unlock your own inner bloody brain power, right? And you can actually go out there and do so much with it. Like, for instance, doing these 2 videos a day, I don't have any videos backlogged, right? So I'm just uploading them twice a day. And it's a lot of content to do a day. I've never done videos this frequently before. And I find that these videos are quite nice to watch. They're just as good as the videos that I would spend a month working on, right? But I can make 60 times as many of them, right? So which is really better there? Is it the 10 minutes of funny material, or is it the 600 minutes of equally funny material? What is better? Is it to put effort into something, or is it to get good results, you know? I don't know the answer to that. Well, I have an opinion on the answer, but I feel like you probably have a different opinion. You might see the world differently. You might come at this from a different angle, and if so, I'd love to hear your opinion in the comments, and we can have a back and forth. And I'd like to do a follow-up video on this, particularly if we have some kind of disagreement, because it is certainly a distinct approach to creativity, and it can also be construed as like, this is the lazy way of just pumping shit out, you know? And I can understand that, and you don't want to fall victim to that. And that, a lot of that comes from commodification of your art and commercialization and sort of selling out and just getting, you know, uninspired by it and just running through the motions. You don't need to run through the motions just because you're making a lot of stuff. In fact, it gives you more opportunity to experiment and try weird things, you know? And from a happy accident comes future endeavors. Like with my friend's YouTube channel, for example, we did a video that was totally different from the thing he normally sort of does. And then it turned out that was quite fun. We enjoyed the video and it came out well and people liked it. So we were like, oh, we'll make some more of them. So we made like 15 more of them, and then people really liked them. So you know, that is a good example. Trying new things will lead you down interesting avenues. And I think if there's one thing that I want you to take away from this video, it's that you can get something good done. You could get something good out now. Stop this video and just go make something right now and upload it to YouTube. Doesn't matter what it is, right? Just try it. See what happens. Take that risk. Do that thing. Jump into the abyss and see where it takes you. See what's on the other side. So yeah, that's going to be all from me. thank you so much for watching this. Love you all. Yeah, doing day 2 of filming today for Jonny Mozza's Lessons in Confidence. Lee is who's playing the role of Mickey Doherty. He's driving down at the moment. So once he gets here, we're going to start filming. So, oh man, I'm so excited. I'm so excited to do this, and I really can't wait to show you it all. I'm going to try and get it edited for tomorrow, and I'll probably have a video out about it on Sunday. And then next week, we're doing 3 days of filming. We're doing, Monday, we're doing some of the office stuff. Then on Wednesday, John Henry, who plays the role of Leo Mickens, he came to me and was like, I should play this blind busker. I've got these cataract glasses. And I was like, I love it, I love it. I love the ideas. And it gave me an idea. So we're going to do that on Wednesday in Kingston. And then on Friday, I'm looking forward to this one the most personally, because we're going to have so much fun with it. And I get to play music for it. I'm going to be replaying the original gig from the film to make it into like this dreamlike sort of sequence to show his delusions of grandeur, because Jonny Mozza plays gigs, open mics, as if he's playing fucking Glastonbury or something like that, you know? And I think that's so much fun. Or like an amphitheatre, you know, or like an arena with like 200,000 people watching, like Queen Live Aid or something like that. That's how he treats it. Yeah, so I'm really excited for all this, and I can't wait to keep you updated on everything that's going on. I can't wait to show you this film when it comes out, because it is an example of quantity over quality, and I really want to you know, to show it to you all and see where that opportunity takes us down the line. So yeah, that's my piece for today. Thank you so much for watching this. Love you all. Take care. Go out and fucking make something, and then post it in the comments. I feel like I'm doing like some kind of infomercial. Yes. Do you want to buy this leaf? Yes. I don't know what accent that is. Do you want to buy this leaf? Yeah. This is a very nice, ornate, teal and yellow, you know, aged 30-year leaf. It came from a very nice oak tree. As you can see, it's a very large leaf. That's a double XL size leaf, perfectly fitting for the larger individual. Yes, as you can see, it covers an awful lot of the body. Yes. So I think the bidding will start at $50,000.